Okay.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. We are live, so I'll go ahead and call to order this special session of the Auburn City Council for June 19, 2020 and our Auburn Economic Recovery. If you would all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Well, we clearly this afternoon don't have a quorum. Since it's just myself, Amy, we won't really need to take roll call, and we'll just acknowledge that there will be no action taken since this is a workshop only. So with that, I'll move to public comment. This is the time provided for a person to speak to the council / just me on an item that's not on the agenda. And was there anybody that brought forward a public comment for today?
Not for today's meeting, no.
Okay, great. Oh yeah, go ahead, Marjorie.
I'll have one. I sent in on a previous meeting, or possibly right before a meeting, I had mentioned that the Business Park Association here at the airport wanted to do similar dues as the Old Town and the Downtown Business Associations do. And that was to tack on a small amount to when they renew their business licenses each year. We had decided, the board had voted on it unanimously to do a $25 dues for the businesses here. And then, like I said, collect that on when they renew. I have sent that wording or that motion to Bob and Amy to just put on the consent calendar. And hopefully that can be done. And if not, just let me know so I can pass that on.
Yes, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
Why don't you give me a call on that? It's actually a much bigger process than just that. These are business improvement districts, so they're actually a legal district that allows the city to levy dues from each of the property owners or business owners, however it's set up. And so it actually will take a bit more time. And I think there's a couple more challenges we'll need to talk about. One is your district, your participants are in the city and the county. And I don't think these can actually span municipal districts.
Correct. We're just asking for those that are in the city. We could ask the county separately for the ones in the county. The problem is that we are not able, we've not been able to successfully collect dues. And if you're using that as membership, we're very, very low on membership. And we also would use that to know who the business owners are, or not, not necessarily owners, because some of them are big companies, but a contact person as well. So that's, we have that information.
Great. I'll be happy to kind of walk you through it. Also, the way that you can spend the funds have been heavily restricted in the later forms of these BIDs versus when they were created for Old Town and Downtown. So let me pull something together for you so you have a really good understanding. Here's what the law says we can do. Here's the process for it. And if you want to go forward, we'll start working on it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we just made a motion to let you guys know. And so now I can cross my list.
Awesome.
That's great, Marjorie. And we'll continue to support the businesses out there and look forward to out the right way and whatever bureaucratic process the state may have in front of us to help you meet your needs. So I know I'll reach out to Bob and we'll figure out how to move that forward. So thank you for letting us know.
Thank you.
Of those efforts. Okay, we'll go ahead and jump right into the agenda. So the first item here is our health emergency response update. So I'll just give you a quick update. Bob and I met with our county leaders, including the health officer, this afternoon. Obviously, the big story this week is a continued increase in the number of positive cases, as well as the state's new mandate for wearing a mask. So real quick, as of today, there are 476 positive cases within Placer County. 288 of those have been reported recovered. 12 of those are in the hospital, 3 of which are in the ICU. So if you just look at the numbers, there's been a 38% increase in the past 7 days and an 80% increase in the last 2 weeks. Now, the good news here, if there is any, is the fact that while these numbers continue to go up, we have not yet triggered any of the triggers for reclosure. So the items that the 5 or 6 items the county included as their attestation that said we will continue to do these things in order to have phase 2 and phase 3 reopenings, we have not yet met those thresholds. So we are trending in an area that was of concern. At this moment, those triggers have not been met. So again, and this is probably where we'll have some more conversation. Yesterday, the state announced the new requirement to wear a mask in almost all locations that are outside of the home, where 6 feet of practical distancing isn't possible. And we talked a lot about some of those exceptions. What about workers having to wear them in the heat? What about those who have respiratory issues? And at the end of the day, the health officer acknowledged the challenges that face masks can wear, especially on a 100-degree day. And her suggestion was coming back to the 6 feet of practical distancing. That really should be the key, and that wearing the mask is when you cannot do that. And so don't get caught up on the have to wear a mask. Get focused on if you have some type of concern, it's too hot, need to take your mask off for a moment, make sure that you have the ability to social distance or to practical distance. The state is going through for their business industry guidance documents that are posted on their state website. They are going through and updating those as we speak to reflect some of the new requirements for wearing a mask. So you can expect the industry guidance documents to be updated. And I have no doubt that Placer County's guidance support documents too will be updated. As far as schools, they will continue to be a recommendation for wearing a mask, and there's nothing at this point that changes school recommendation to a requirement. Contact tracing continues. The health officer—
Daniel, was there any talk in there about youth sports at all in that update?
No, not on youth sports. Is that what you asked about?
Oh, we lost you a little bit.
Did you ask about youth sports?
Yes, that's what he asked.
Okay, I didn't know if he lost me or we lost him. They did
Are
not
you guys
talk
able
about
to
youth.
hear him right now?
They did not talk about youth sports. We did talk about public gatherings, and with youth sports and public gatherings, the county has continued to make multiple requests for additional guidance, and they said at this point the state has really provided nothing. One thing though on public gatherings, not to move away from your question on youth sports, but yesterday the state kind of quietly inserted in for public gatherings the allowance for weddings. So gatherings have been allowed for church and for protest, and now weddings as well. However, there are restrictions on wedding. So you can have a wedding, religious or not, but you cannot have a reception. But to answer your question, Rob, the short answer was no, the state has not given any hint on youth sports at this point.
And this might be a Bob question. What's your take as a jurisdiction in terms of how you're going to look at mandatory mask requirement? I mean, I don't think there was a lot of guidance on enforcement in there, was there?
No, there hasn't been guidance on enforcement on any of this, but I think it's a really good point. I was going to bring it up during my section. But I think one of the main level of complaints that we've been receiving in the last few weeks have been from folks who mostly do have health challenges, not like wanting to be out and about with people who are not wearing masks. So we're already fielding quite a number of those. I think we're going to field a lot more. So our job is going to be education, just as we did with businesses that were opening prematurely or not doing the correct protocols. We'll start handling that the same way. The police chief and I need to sit down and have a good talk about how to make those approaches. And we'll balance that out between manpower, what we have available at any given time, and what are we really seeing as far as complaints from the community, and what kind of participation, voluntary participation do we have?
Right. It seems like the thing that you'll probably see more of is, since it's now mandatory, is, some businesses have been a little lax with their employees on that front, and that'll probably make that a little tougher, right? For those companies.
Agreed.
Any other questions related to some of the health portions of the update?
The only thing I might recommend is if there is enforcement, the chamber still has quite a number of masks, correct? And we get them a lot of masks. Is that information that could be given to a business if they're not using the mask, that, hey, they're available through the Chamber of Commerce here in Auburn?
Absolutely. It's a good idea.
Is there any businesses that are saying that they don't have enough masks, or have we tried to distribute any, Bob?
Is Allison Harvey on?
No, she's not going to be able to join us today, so maybe we can just.
I'll go ahead and speak with them.
Yeah, in a moment, get onto the PPE, and we can give an update on what we received. So, Sandy, can we just put we'll put a pin there on that question and bring it back here just a minute?
Oh, well, I'm just wondering if are we having some businesses who are indicating that they don't have enough, Bob?
We've had 40 sign up for masks and hand sanitizer, and we'll be distributing that. Yes.
Oh, okay. I just jumped in, so thank you. I must have missed out.
No, we just haven't got there yet. So you're just segueing there. But Bob, why don't you go ahead and we'll move to the city actions and services, and then we'll get into the PPE after that.
Okay. Quite frankly, the demand and issues from the business community have fallen off to almost nothing. The outdoor dining, outdoor seating, the ambient music, all is going along very, very nicely. I have still to receive any complaints about any of those. Only kinds of complaints I'm getting are business related. I think really Rob just referred to it, is employees not wearing masks where patrons would hope that they would. We do share that information as we get that with the individual business. We're not getting any requests at all for business loan information anymore. Either the businesses that need it have already retained it, or they know the most direct routes to go. And so that's terrific. I think that's a real success there. As far as the PPE products, Daniel and Allison and I have been working together on that. We did receive full complement of materials, and that is 36,000 masks, actually a bit more than that, 700 gallons of hand sanitizer in nice small personal size bottles. The chamber has been advertising that to their business community. There's a quick little form they have to fill out. We've got about 40 signed up. Tuesday, we will be organizing for the first delivery. And then on Wednesday, down at the Rose Room in City Hall, between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m., you can drop by, just say what business you have. We'll have those materials prepackaged, drop them right in the car, and they're ready to go. And so if additional businesses need these materials, just get on the chamber website. It's right up there. Fill out the little form. It automatically comes to us. We will once again get the materials all broken out, ready to go for that business. And we'll continue the advertising and the communication with those businesses signed up as to when they can come pick everything.
Anybody have any questions related to the city's actions or the business personal protective equipment that came in? Okay, great. Thank you, Bob. We'll move on to stage 3 reopening status. Today, personal services are allowed to reopen. So this includes nail salons, massage, as well as tattoo parlors. So additional businesses, that we were receiving a number of complaints that they weren't open, are now able to open with modified restrictions that, of course, that industry guidance is posted onto the website. So I don't know if anybody here has any issues they've heard about on that, on today's reopenings, but that is a kind of the big final big milestone of some of the last larger industries here in town. Okay, not seeing any. Auburn Chamber of Commerce has no report this week. Again, Allison unfortunately was at another meeting. So we'll go ahead to Business Association reports. And Marjorie, since you are our lone business association today, what's going on at the airport park?
Not much. I know Air International Thermal Systems has got quite a few job postings, which is great. They're growing. And other than that, it's pretty quiet out here.
Well, let's hope anybody looking for a job can go over there and apply and get some work. So, okay. Rob, how about for Placer Tourism? Any updates on what we're doing tourist-wise?
Well, we've contracted with an agency out of Reno, so we're aggressively starting to promote in county. We got some, we started with some social. So yeah, we're full guns ahead in terms of trusting that the reopening process is going to be steady. It is one of the reasons we continue to push the message of, caution and safety when it comes to this stuff. Because to me, the goal is to open and stay open. And the only way we'll really be able to do that is if we can kind of, stay in a lane that allows for that. We know that travelers are very antsy to get out and about. Tahoe is seeing a huge influx of people. Our area is as well. So, so all good on that front for sure. In fact, I gave an update yesterday or the day before to the Chamber Government Relations Board on it, just to do that. And there was also a fairly lively discussion on the proposed potential sales tax, which of course is always of interest to us in tourism because, from my perspective, and that we sent a letter of support for that, catastrophic wildfire still continues, I think, to be one of the great existential threats to our community. And it's not gotten any, it's not gone away because we have some of these other threats. So that was interesting. Kevin Hanley presented a view, and so we had a nice discussion over that. I guess you guys are dealing with that there Thursday
night.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of it. The other thing is, on Tuesday, the Board of Supervisors is going to be looking at the new revisions to the winery and farm brewery zoning text amendment. We've been very involved in that, in those discussions, especially as it relates to, how some of the amended changes are going to affect the industry. We're very happy from our perspective. We think the language is going to allow the region to grow responsibly in a way that we think will continue to make that an asset for everyone's quality of life. Obviously, big to our region and to Auburn as well, since the region is right in our backyard. So, that's a big day, Tuesday, I think, for our assets.
Okay, great. Roundtable, any comments, questions, thoughts, issues?
Just, I guess, I keep coming back to Marjorie's picture behind her. That looks like a vision of the future to me.
We need to return back to the days of safe but public gatherings and good times.
I saw some friends today at Tre Pace, and they were eating outside. And, I was talking to them. I said, I almost always try to find a restaurant now that has outdoor dining. I mean, that's one thing I told the Government Relations Board that's really important, I think, is what we know now more about the spread of COVID is that it's far, far, far safer outside. Face coverings and being outside are two humongous, deterrents. And, You know, and there's a lot of reasons for that. These older buildings with not having great air recharging systems, you know, make it tough. So, yeah, I pretty much look, if you don't have outdoor dining, I'm probably not going there, you know, at this moment in time, you know, so.
Yeah, and I think the public spaces continues should be people's thought processes, whether it be Herschel Young Park, Bicentennial Park in Old Town, the fairgrounds, the Lewis Street Park across from Central Square. You know, those are some good places to
Yeah.
food to go, but still be able to stay here in Auburn and outside eat. I know I was talking with the fairgrounds executive director yesterday, and they're going to be breaking ground on a new outdoor dining area on the fairgrounds. So that will be a future place that you know, people will be able to eat at. So I think that's another good one to think about, especially in the short term until we can really maximize permanent outdoor seating. Those are some options.
Was
Yeah.
that, oh, go ahead, Sandy.
Oh, yeah, no, you know, we do, just kind of piggybacking off what you said, Rob, we do have our communities has a lot of retired people, and the word out on them is that they still won't go in. Many of them do look for outdoor seating, restaurants that have the, you know, patios and that kind of thing. And then my other question is, yeah, you mentioned the fairgrounds. Did they just have the farmers market last night at the fairgrounds? Is that correct?
Yeah, no,
And how did that go?
Yeah, I attended for I think the second time now that I think they've had 3, but it was very good. I was telling Rob earlier that the farmers market is a little different than the Saturday market. It definitely is not a competition. There are different booths. There are, you know, similar types of produce, but the farmers market at the fairgrounds has probably a little bit expanded component to it, whether it be wine and beer. That is, Auburn Ale House was there, Echo Valley was there. So there are some other types of Auburn businesses that you wouldn't traditionally see at the farmers market on Saturdays. And it's pretty well shaded and it's very opened up. So there's plenty of opportunities to walk around with practical distancing and it's shaded. So even with how hot it was yesterday, it was very enjoyable.
Oh, that's great. I'll have to make it, except next Thursday we can't.
Hey, so
Oh yeah,
just
we
a
have city
quick,
council. So I think they're 4 to 8. So Sandy, before the city council,
Oh, okay,
you can run over there and get some fresh peaches or strawberries or whatever.
great.
so are they selling wine and beer by the glass then? Or is it just for retail
No,
purchase?
I think the wine is retail purchase. Auburn Ale House has a festival permit, if I'm not mistaken, so they can serve bottles. So,
Got it.
and that is something they're still looking into, as well as expanding permitting abilities to serve alcohol.
Right.
So Daniel, if somebody wanted to be part of that Thursday night farmers market, you know, have their business represented, who do they approach? Is that the fairgrounds themselves?
Yeah, it's the Gold Country Fairgrounds that is hosting it and putting it on. And of course, for them, you know, they've had no events there. And so this is, you know, the only thing right now that is bringing a little bit of funding and revenue into the fairgrounds. So definitely an important one to go out and support.
Yeah.
But yes, the fairgrounds, Don Ailes at the fairgrounds is the contact for anybody interested.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
anything else for the good of the order? If not, okay, you know, a short meeting today, and that's good. And hopefully, again, get the word out to your businesses. If they need PPE and equipment, masks or hand sanitizers, go to the Chamber of Commerce website to fill that out. And Wednesday, we'll be filling those orders. So if there's nothing else, I'll go ahead and conclude the meeting and see you here next week. And again, hopefully, it's always good if we don't have anything really to talk about, but if new things come up, I want to make sure we have the opportunity to have that conversation. So with that, have a good day, everybody.
All right. Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah,
See-
thank you.
Good weekend, everyone.
Thank you, goodbye.
What?
And Bromley invited us over tonight. He's having Gary.
Good.
And then, of course, Kelly Bennett.
Right.
Yeah.
We rest for a second.
Well, yeah, in a second. I'm in the mood. Oh, but my baby. I love my baby. I love you, Turkey. Okay, what are you wearing? Brittany? Are you wearing? Shorts and go straight to a hike? I'm going down to see.